And I know AI is going to move fast, but we still have to tackle problems now when things aren't ready yet, right? I have to admit, it's interesting watching the noise around AI. I'm not saying it's hype. This is just my answer, okay? There's so much noise, there's so much possibilities, it's so exciting. It's so exciting that Boomering's trying to humanize AI and upskill their staff. But hey, we're always here to help. We've got all the data security that you could imagine in the world. Come talk to us, we'll take those stresses away. And hey, let's make offshoring fun. Oh, g'day everyone. I guess it's my turn. I've been invited to Shore Thing. So today I'm here to talk about offshoring. I've been in the Philippines for 13 years, involved in BPOs and running BPOs. And then we started Boomering in 2017, so 8 years ago. Hey, everything's ticking along and we're changing people's worlds at the moment. And we're changing clients' worlds and we're changing Filipinos' worlds. All right, guys, so they're punishing me here. They're giving me questions which I wasn't allowed to read before, and now I'm getting in trouble. We've got a question in from Kenji Tanaka. I keep seeing people jump straight to offshoring. How do you even know that's the actual problem and not just a band-aid? Well, I guess part of our process is to understand how ready a client is. And part of our investigation is to find out what's truly happening in their business. Quite often, some people come to us with a concept and they believe they know what they need. And once we go through our investigation, it proves to be a slightly different role. Or, hey, in the past, we've definitely sent people away for a month or two to gear up and get ready for offshoring. So we're not one to just take the order and run with it without advising a client first. We're in it for the long journey, and if the long journey takes a little bit longer, I'd rather wait and have a good relationship with a customer. But hey, sometimes a band-aid fix is what's needed temporarily as well. It might be while they're building systems or not, and stopgaps can be needed as well. So there's always different options and different solutions to a problem and a different way to look at how to resolve those problems. Oh, we're both controlling. How clever. Okay, this is from Tequila Mockingbird. Okay, be honest. Do people still low-key judge talent based on where someone lives? Feels like it happens way more than people admit. Yes, I think it's less and less. I think the world is getting more multicultural, but does it happen? For sure it still happens. It's actually amazing when you see someone flip side, meaning they didn't expect something. And we had a team where they hired lead gen people and it was all about appointment settings. And then they realized how great these people were and they became part of the sales process all the way up to full sales. And now our Filipino team is actually outselling the home country's team by threefold. But do people judge talent? Hey, I think people get judged all over the world, and getting the chance to prove yourself is just a wonderful thing. Hello, Zoom calls ruin my day. Have a look. Let's see. For those running offshore teams, what were you stressed about before starting? Time zones, communications. I think they're asking what are the people stressed about when they're talking about offshore teams. So I think offshoring's changed a fair bit over time. If we talk about nowadays, Boomering's philosophy is all about spending to the customer. We use the customer's communication channels. We move our shift times to match the customer's work times, so teams are aligned, so those teams can really feel part of that company, learn that company's culture and become part of the team. Don't look at it as an offshore team. These people that you hire for your business really, truly are only working for your business. They're dedicated to your business and they want to be part of that culture and environment. And even think about public holidays. The teams will run on the Australian, American, UK public holidays. So then there's no wondering when people are off and on and they're just matching your team perfectly. All right, up next. Wow, Look at this name. Dead inside but cute. Okay, the question is, for anyone who knows Boomering, how has building it actually changed you as a person, like for better or worse? Wow, it's changed me in many ways. I think every day we learn, every day a curveball comes and throws us out. And I think the biggest thing you can always remember is if something goes wrong, don't instantly blame somebody. Literally assess the situation, take 2 steps back, work out if it goes wrong for that person, what didn't we do as management to put the right systems in place, put the right training in place. It's always about learning from every instance to work out, hey, how do we make it better? How does it not happen next time? How do we take that stress off the employees so they don't have to go through that? The team in here just told me these questions were supposed to be fun. Well, I don't know, I just answered honestly. But if you think about the last question, how has it changed me? I've got a lot bigger since I started Boomering. Much more, a lot of time goes into building a business, and sometimes you sacrifice things, and it's sometimes hard balancing between family, exercise, yourself, and business. So here we go, next question. This close to quitting has asked, was there a moment where everything was basically on fire and you thought, yeah, this might be it? What did you do? Well, hey, we've all lived through COVID. That was absolutely terrifying. That was a show of what people can do together. So I do remember we pulled the trigger and moved everyone home early. So we had this proud moment, but it didn't stop us from helping customers scale down, helping customers adapt. And we went from 200 staff down to about 80. And we just built this nice big building and there was big infrastructure. So yes, there was stress. So, there's definitely been a, oh my God moment here and there. But those things make you grow as well. And guess what? You put the effort in, you build the infrastructure, and they will come. And here we are. Patricia Gomez. Oh, here we go. I'm scared to look at what this question is. What industry trends right now are all hype but no substance? And what's something underrated that people are sleeping on? Oh my God, what a heavy question for a fun topic. Okay, let's have a look. What are all hype? My gosh. I have to admit, it's interesting watching the noise around AI. I'm not saying it's hype. This is just my answer, okay? There's so much noise, there's so much possibilities, it's so exciting. It's so exciting that Boomering's trying to humanize AI and upskill their staff. Some of the questions we're getting from clients are just mind-blowing the future, and they're forgetting to live in the now. And I know AI is going to move fast, but we still have to tackle problems now when things aren't ready yet, right? So I think the best thing is let's do our best, let's adapt as we watch technology change. But my gosh, there's definitely some noise in the market about AI, right? What's something underrated that people are sleeping on? Well, it's so interesting when you look at some of the different industries and how heavy offshoring is in some of the industries and not others. And I'm sure it's down to market knowledge and how well people have been taught about options and etc. Look at construction as one example. It's not through heavy as a percent as accounting is, for offshoring. It's interesting when you're watching clients that are super happy to offshore one role and super nervous about another. But hey, we're always here to help. We've got all the data security that you could imagine in the world. Come talk to us. We'll take those stresses away. And hey, let's make offshoring fun. Last one. Wow. Okay, Joshua Michael, if you had to start from scratch again today, what would you not do this time? I think when I first started Boomering, we pushed and pushed, putting all the profit back into the business, right? It was all about, hey, let's grow, let's get bigger, let's serve the customer better. But after living through COVID, I wish we would have built a little bit bigger war chest and taken some of that stress away. So that's one of my big learnings, that, hey, every business needs a war chest, and the bigger the war chest, the less stress is in your life, right? Mean comments, I'm used to them. I'm ready. Well, we're up to the part of the episode where it's mean time, and I've got to read through some mean comments. So let's see how I go. Hey, I'm Aussie. We like picking on people, so that's how we show our love. So let's see how I take it when people are putting out some mean comments out there. So ask an Aussie, right? Hiring offshore employees from the Philippines. I know a lot of Australian companies are hiring employees offshore, Philippines, due to lower labour costs. I'm curious, what's an Australian employee's take on this? How do you find working with Filipinos? Okay, so Slothy Sunday session says the issue can be instruction and culture to execute tasks. This goes both ways and across any pond. Give it 10 years and another Australian will be whining about there is no more jobs available and the economy is suffering. Sounds a bit harsh, but if you continue to sell out your fellow countrymen for a quick buck, communities suffer around you and you go down the road of the US with jobs sold out for cheap offshore workers. Now my turn to answer? All right. I'm sure there is jobs that probably hardly exist in Australia because they've been offshored, but talking to these companies and the people that want to offshore, some of them have been advertising those roles over and over in Australia and they can't find the right talent to do those roles are interesting comments to hear. The other part of it is if you looked at 95% of our customers, all our customers haven't lost or reduced their Australian teams. Probably the majority of them have increased their Australian teams. Because if you break down offshoring simply, it's moving the right chores to more cost-effective locations. And in essence, what that does is make the team in Australia more valuable. They're doing more forward-facing work. They're growing the businesses. They're getting more time with clients. They're making their portfolios bigger while the back end's getting done here. So there's lots of ways to think about it. Another thing, just from my past, I worked for a big company that had 80 shops in my past across Australia, and they were ready to, this is in my younger years, but they were ready to make some very hard decisions and either shut down or big layoffs. And they chose to offshore the administration, which allowed these 70 or 80 shops that had 3 to 10 employees each stay alive in Australia. So there's always positives, negatives, and it's always about how people go into offshoring with the right spirit, you know? All right, apparently we've got a doozy here. We've got a super long question, complaint, I don't know. Okay, let's have a look. This is from Beard3188. No issues with Filipino people whatsoever. However, when you offshore a company and those workers have no idea how the company industry works or how the Australian way of life is, it becomes a disaster. Simple Energy and Internet have recently done this and it's quite simply a fucking disaster. Mind the language. I cannot stand being called sir or for females ma'am. A lot of those call centres allow their staff to work from home and I assume it is completely unregulated. I've had calls with people screaming in the background, dogs barking, doors slamming, general conversations happening in the background, really loud traffic, horns beeping. The worst part is none of them are escalating these things to their onshore teams, including ombudsman teams. So when you've got nowhere with general customer service, you get absolutely nowhere with escalations. I've transferred out of a company, I'll leave the name out, purely on the basis of customer service. Secondly, because they're beeping rip-off price-wise and would do the same. But however, when these companies are the only ones in the area, it's hard to leave someone just because of customer service. I think these companies are failing at dramatically is training and education. Firstly, with industry knowledge. I've worked in power gas and hate having people to do the jobs for them or explain basic industry jargon, and hate to be told I don't know. Call Centre 101, never say I don't know, ask. Secondly, the way of life, and third, empathy. That was a very, very long question, and I hope people don't cut those words and make them mine, because they weren't. But let's start tackling this, guys. Offshoring can be a disaster if not planned correctly. Do you know how many customers I've told them to start slow, put 2 people on, not 50 people on, make sure you've got the model right, make sure they're representing your company right. Let's get the training methods, let's get the quality control methods right before you scale up. Because what happens is these offshore team members are representing those businesses, and Filipinos are hard workers, they're proud workers. They want to be proud of the customer they're working for. So they want to do their best, but it does rely on the training. The other thing Boomering does mostly is, for majority of our contracts, we don't generally go down the junior rate. We find people that have already been working with Australian, American, UK businesses, already have some knowledge about the culture of that country. And again, there's so many things in this that we can tackle. Right, they talk about background noise, whether it's dogs, chickens, jeeps, beeping, etc. There's so many ways to get past that. For one, definitely a call-in team I wouldn't be having at home. It'd be in our office. But even if you had no choice, there's AI software that you can run on your phone systems that take out all the background noise. They're so easy to use. They're so amazing how they work. The question about being able to escalate in teams, well, again, that comes down to either the customer or how the offshoring centre has designed the team and what the customer's allowed them to do. So I know that we want our staff to feel supported. We wouldn't want them to not have a place to escalate to, and that wouldn't be acceptable, right? So I think just like anything you do, if you're putting in that 100% of effort into business, hey, you should be doing it whether you're offshoring or not. So that wraps up today's second episode of Sure Thing. It's been quite enjoyable, so I really appreciate your time. Thank you for staying with us this long. There is one last thing. We are now offering the OBP, Offshoring Best Practices. And it's a course designed for clients or future clients. We're giving the first 3 modules away for free, and if you become a client, you get the rest of it. So if you want to know how best to get the results, enjoyment out of your team, that course is definitely for you, and it's all self-paced, so pick the topics that you're interested in at the time and take your time and learn properly. You'll be able to find the link to the start of it in the description below. And again, thanks for your time, guys.